Hey friends! Alright, in this video I'm going to show you shoulder CARs, controlled articulated rotations of the glenohumeral joint, and my bony friend here is going to show us what exactly we're articulating when we do our shoulder CARs. So let's take a look at the shoulder joint a little closer. This is just so you can really take a look at what we're working with here. This is your arm bone, the humerus, and then it inserts into the glenoid cavity. This little tiny socket in relation to this big old ball. So you can imagine there's a lot of tendinous stuff going on to protect, and we've got the rotator cuff, if you will, which is a nice little group of muscles that support this little joint. But yeah, just keep in mind, look at how tiny this little thing is and how big the head of the humerus is. Anywho, the glenoid cavity, as you can see, is part of the scapula. So this is why we talk about when your arm bone is reaching up or forward, your scapula is going to go with it. If you throw a punch, your scapula is going to glide across the side of the rib so that you can reach further forward. And when you pull something, your scapula is going to glide closer, to your spine, right? So retraction is when your scapulas come close together. Protraction is when they separate. Maybe my friend's scapulas are neutral position right now. Anywho's, when we bring the arm up, that is shoulder flexion. When we bring the arm behind us, that is shoulder extension. So when we do our shoulder CARs today, which I'm going to demonstrate in this video, we're going to take the shoulder into its full range of motion, painless range of motion. So that means that if your arm, when you take it up here, ouchies, it hurts, you're going to bring it down here and then carve around, and we can still articulate it in a smaller rotation. We just make the movement smaller. But if we get stronger in that smaller range of motion, you'll develop the strength in the tissues to better support you in a bigger range of motion. And we slowly begin to increase our range of motion using CARs, controlled articular rotations. So let's do some CARs of the shoulder. I'm in a kneeling position, but you can do this standing up. I'm going to make sure that my pelvis is in a neutral position, and I'm using a block to create irradiation. So I'm squeezing the block in between my thighs. You can search my video on what's irradiation if you don't know what that is. And you can make a fist, or you can keep your palm flat. I'm going to reach my arm in front of me and externally rotate my arm bone. So it should feel like you're wringing out a towel right at your armpit. Wring it out, externally rotate all the way, add it in. The only reason your arm can't go anymore is because your trunk is in the way. So then we go ahead and reach upwards. I'm using the irradiation to make sure that I don't lift my chest or extend my spine. Once I get to the top, I want to finish making the best and biggest circle, so then I make space to create the internal rotation. So just watch my arm bone. I'm going to finish the circle, reach to the side of my hip, and go backwards. From internal rotation, I want to find some kind of external spiral so I can get my arm back towards flexion. I go back to the external rotation so that I can finish the cycle right where I started. And then I'll go again. I'm going to make the next circle even better, more crisp. I'm making observations and feeling it out. You might see some compensation, such as the trunk moving or the ribs rotating a little bit. You'll notice this in yourself. You can even see it a little bit on my body. I'm actually not irradiating to my fullest potential. I am not at the highest intensity of my irradiation. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, go watch my What's Irradiation video. Don't worry too much about perfecting the movement. If you do notice that your trunk is moving a lot, that's fine. We have to start somewhere. When you return and try again tomorrow, you're going to irradiate a little bit more or not irradiate a little bit more. Keep working at that same level of tension and just watch the work go from there. And then in a couple of days, add more intensity. or maybe in a couple of weeks, you can add more intensity. As long as you remember not to move through any ranges that are causing you pain. No pain. If you feel pain, move away, make the circles or make the articulations smaller. Let me know if you have any questions and enjoy your shoulder CARs. Thanks for watching.